Hello and welcome to ColoradoTriathlete.com. We're here with Ben Hoffman, 2010 Ironman Lake Placid winner, 2010 Branson 70.3 winner, 2011 Boise and Muncie 70.3 winner. Welcome. So Ben, tell us how you got started in triathlon.
Well, I was a college student at the University of Montana in Missoula, and I joined a club team up there. And just so happened that we were a bit of a powerhouse. I mean, at the time we were one of two schools, CU Boulder and then ourselves, that had won the national championship a couple of times. And so there were a lot of good resources, a lot of ex-professionals, and just a lot of good collegiate athletes up there. So I got some good instruction and realized pretty quickly I had a knack for it. So that's where I started.
In 2006, you were first place at Collegiate Nationals?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we had it in Reno, Nevada, and I won collegiates that year, and we also won the team title as a co-ed team, so that was pretty exciting.
So after you did that, you decided to move back to Colorado?
Well, there's a little bit of a story in between that, but yes, I mean, I spent that summer living out of a Suburban with my now coach, and we raced all the way through the Pacific Northwest, and they'll pay you for finishing top 5 in Canada regardless of your pro status or amateur status. So we did that for the summer of 2006, and that's what solidified my decision to be a professional triathlete. And in the early winter, I guess, of 2007, so in January, I moved back to Colorado in Durango, Colorado, and was there for 4 years. So.
Last year you were second in St. George, Utah Ironman, and then this year you were fourth in St. George, Utah Ironman. How many Ironmans have you done now?
I believe I've done 7 Ironman total. I did my first one in 2008 in Arizona. I did the Tempe Ironman and came 6th there. I had a really good race. It's still actually my fastest time in an Ironman. I was 8:24, and you know, it was my debut Ironman. I had a good race there, which qualified me for Kona. We had a big pro field that year, so even in 6th place, I still qualified for Kona. And then I didn't do another Ironman until I went and raced Kona the following year in 2009. And then I've raced St. George twice, Lake Placid twice, and Kona twice. So yeah, 7 Ironmans.
Last year at Lake Placid, you beat the 2009 winner, Mike Vilcek. What were your feelings going into Lake Placid yesterday?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I had a lot of confidence. It's been a great year for me, and I felt like I was on the best form of my life coming in here. And you know, I felt really good. I was hoping that it would be certainly not a cakewalk, but I felt like I was capable of the title defense. And you know, I gave everything I had. I came sort of close. I mean, TJ had a career day, and you know, he beat me pretty handily in the end by about 7 or 8 minutes. But I improved my time by 5 or 6 minutes from the year before. So I'm trying to look at the positives from it and realize that I'm still improving, and that I'm still one of the younger guys doing what I'm doing. So
you were 5th out of the swim, but 4th out of T1. It seemed like you moved through the field up to 2nd place pretty quickly. Do you remember when you moved into 2nd place?
I think it was about mile 35 on the bike when I passed Luke Bell and moved into 2nd place. And at that point I had gained back just over half of my time that I'd lost in the swim. I think TJ and Luke came out about 2.5 minutes in front of me, and I got to about 1 minute and 15 seconds down from TJ at one point on the course around mile 40. And you know, I went through the first half, and I kind of looked down, and I remember seeing a split of something like 2:13, I think, for my first 56 miles, and I thought, this seems a bit quick, maybe not so sustainable. So I pulled back a little bit, thinking that maybe TJ was going too deep, and then in the end, you know, he kept it pretty steady. So.
In the press conference, you mentioned that you hadn't changed your race schedule approach because of the new point system. You said that if you race well, you should make it to the World Championship in Kona. You should be able to get enough points. Well, I just checked the rankings this morning, and you're now ranked 22nd. What are you feeling for Kona?
I mean, yeah, you know, I guess like I said before, I feel like my racing, choosing the races that I would like to do and racing them well should be enough to get me there with the point system. And I guess it's shown now. I think the initial qualification happens this week, where they'll take the top 40 men and the top 25 women. So I'm obviously well in that zone, and Yeah, I mean, Kona is just such a different animal. You know, I haven't really wrapped my head around it. The truth is that my body's pretty beat up at the moment, and doing another Ironman doesn't sound too appetizing. But yeah, when the time comes to get to that point and think about Kona, I will. So.
Well, most people who win Kona take several tries, so your your goal is probably not to win this year, but do you have a goal for perhaps a placing?
Yeah, I mean, I think more than anything, what I'd really like to do in Kona is to race to my potential. I've done the race twice, and I feel like both times I've gone there with pretty good fitness. I mean, it's the World Championships, and I've towed the line each time, thinking that at that point in my career, I was probably the best prepared that I could be, and I didn't feel like I achieved what my body should be capable of on a normal day. And Kona's not a normal race, but I feel like it would just be great to have a race that I could look back on and think, on the day I did things as well as I could have, and I performed as well as I could have on the day. And whether that nets me 15th place or 8th place or 20th place, I would just like to have that feeling after the race, which has been lacking from the last two attempts. So.
I noticed also that you raced some Xterra races, and you're planning on doing the World Championship in Maui as well after Kona.
Yeah, I mean, I have fun with Xterras. I've done, I think, 3 or 4 of them now, and none of them have been the big cup races that most of the top Xterra pros do, but I like to throw one in the schedule here and there. I grew up doing some mountain biking around western Colorado, and I do love riding my mountain bike for training, just to get a mental break from the road, and also just to enjoy the trails in Colorado. And yeah, Xterra is a different vibe. It's really pretty laid back, and it's not quite as serious and gung ho as maybe the roadside is. So it's good to step away from that genre of racing and try something different. So I'd like to give Xterra Worlds a try in Maui and see where I stack up, because I feel like if I have a good day, I think I can maybe crack into that top 10 or better. So.
Well, good luck.
Thank you very much.